I do theatre, and my name is Anuja Ghosalkar, and I run a performance company that uses documentary theatre, oral narratives, personal history, archival work, and photography to make provocative, status quo breaking work. It's not your run of the mill mainstream theatre at all. It could be absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, so how would Anuja describe Anuja Ghosalkar, the artist?
Definitely, I like to upset the status quo. I like to challenge the way a certain thing is done. For example, let's say with Anandi, it's not a conventional theatre piece. It's a piece where I use script, I read, there are photo projections, because I was responding to a theatre scene in India which is very text dominated, where there is the director, writer, and actor and then actress relationship, which I think is very hegemonic. So I think I would describe myself as provocative, challenging the status quo. Once an older lady also called me militant. I think I think it's a compliment.
How would you say that theatre and performance is perceived in India today?
Well, theatre and performance, is perceived in India as something that you do as a hobby, right? You go in school, after school you'll do school plays, you'll do college plays, but can you take it as a profession? No, because the truth is that it is not financially lucrative. It is hard. I have to do a lot of other things in order to be able to be a theatre actor, right? So it's perceived as like, acha, acting karega. And then the acting is only legitimized if you come in a serial or you act in Bollywood or if you do an ad. Theatre is not looked upon as viable. Which mother says, tu bada ban ke theatre actor ban? It's all like engineer, doctor, now even filmmaker. But I also see it's dictated by economy. Like I've seen all my theatre friends, and no offense to anybody, the people who do cinema or who do ads are cast in a play, and then obviously more people come to see them, and obviously the play makes more money. So that's an industrialized, sort of industry idea of this is the actor, this is the bankable theatre actor also.
Do you think theatre, performance, movement, these things could aid a creative professional from another field, like say even a graphic designer or a product designer? Do you think that it is all interconnected on some level, or that it can be, should be?
Oh no, absolutely, it's all interconnected. Even when I was teaching the animation course, what is it ultimately? You engage all your senses, you engage your body, you engage a certain imagination. And with the animation kids, it was so much fun because we did theatre in relation to animation. So when we were doing breath, of course it's a physical thing, an actor uses breath, but if they were to create animated characters, how would the character breathe? Then we did something like walking on varied surfaces, right? What does surface do to a character? And as an animator or a designer, the surface is really important. Whether you're wood carving on a tree or sketching on paper or on computers, what is this idea of the surface in relation to the body? Now all that is very good to know, and I think they all know theoretically. But when you experience it through your own body, it may alter or improve or layer your graphic designing skills, your animation skills. So I think, of course, the arts are connected, and I feel like we are a sum total of what we've seen, of what we've experienced.
You've said, I think, several times, in fact, and you've described your piece, Lady Anandi, as being very raw. And you've very categorically said it's not a polished, finished product, but you have ultimately opened it up to people anyway. Criticism in particular. So, how do you deal with that?
I cry. Criticism is tough for any of us. I would be I would be lying if I said it doesn't bother me. A very senior newspaper did a really harsh review of Lady Anandi, and I was going somewhere and I was reading it in the taxi, and I was just crying and crying and crying. And of course, at the end, she said, "Of course, but the piece has been applauded for its experimentation and its avant-garde nature." Those are real struggles of being an artist. Like I said, it's very sexy to be an artist, but there are some very serious struggles. critics, your peers, your own sense of self, it's really difficult to process it. And there are good days and bad days.
You've again, like you've brought up budgets, and there's obviously a very ultimately there is a transactional nature to any industry, the creative industry also, and you've spoken of this. I mean, money is important. So how then do you balance, or how does one balance money and craft?
I feel like money comes. It's not like with with Anandi, I'm not going to make enough money to take me for a holiday or even pay my rent. But did I make enough to support the project in and of itself and the crew I worked with? I do a lot of work. I teach, I do voiceovers, I do corporate trainings. It comes. My other sort of work funds my purely artistic work. But also my artistic work gives me the skills to go out into the world and make money.
If you were to give, like, say, anything that you could say, or even a piece of advice to somebody that is a student of design, and also people associated with them, I'm talking families or a parent, what would you say?
I would say, we lead long lives. Life is very, very long also. It's short, but it's also really long. So I feel the 20s or our early education should be invested in real exploration. Just don't worry. Have children if you want to. Marry if you want to. If you don't, it's fine. But live your life. And I feel like that also has to do with hurry. People are always in a hurry. Shit, I'm 28, I have to get married, I have to create a film, I have to make work. Of course, make all that time. Make work, but I feel like also live life. Herzog has a very good quote. He says, maybe don't go to film school, but drive a taxi, work in a strip club, be a bouncer. The lived experience that you have to make your film and make your art might be far greater than assisting someone. And I think there's great value in that. And I would say to parents or like family associated with students who want to study art or design is let it be. It's okay. It's not a monster. People have lived and survived and made money and become famous also. So it's not like, family ki shaan chali jayegi if you become an actor. I would say let it be. Let people be who they want to be. You do your own thing, na? Yeah. Don't live your dreams through your children. That's the worst. Sorry.